biggest mistake that people make when it comes to an autoimmune condition is thinking that just by getting an official diagnosis is going to help them get better, and that there is no way of reversing their disease. That they can only manage their symptoms, right? My name is Anindita, and I am a functional medicine certified health coach and a functional medicine practitioner from the School of Applied Functional Medicine, and I work with women with undiagnosed autoimmune conditions so that they can start reversing their symptoms with or without a diagnosis, using their body as their guide, right? So today I'm talking about why waiting for an official diagnosis is not really helping, and why addressing the root causes is where we need to also start to look at much earlier in the disease management process. And if you would like to explore and learn more about how I can help you with this, then I have opened up 10 new spots for a free call, 30 minutes discovery call, where I will help you to explore the interconnectedness between what's going on, and if there is one thing based on, and the one thing that you will get based on our conversation is probably a sense of direction as to what step you should be taking next to start seeing some improvements in your health, right? And coming back to what I sort of started with, that we believe that getting diagnosis, an official diagnosis is enough, and it's all we need to start getting better. And I get it, because that's what we have all been led to believe, that the only effective way of managing any chronic illness, in particular autoimmune condition, is by knowing which disease that we have, by knowing the name of the disease, and that's all that we need, and then focusing on the right treatments and the medications, right? That's what we have been told. And that once we start doing this, that once we are on that medication or that treatment, we will get better. But let me ask you, does everyone you know who has finally gotten a name for their autoimmune disease or gotten an official diagnosis for the autoimmune condition, really gotten better and being able to manage to reverse their autoimmune disease? Yes, because reversing chronic conditions are certainly possible. Or are they actually getting worse and worse even after they do get a diagnosis, right? And as they stay on their medications for a lifetime, most of them are getting worse and worse because they're dealing also with the side effects of these medications. These are very strong immunosuppressives, painkillers, etc., steroids, which take a toll on their bodies and have downstream other effects, and in fact worsen some of their other symptoms, right? So isn't that the case in so many people who are dealing with autoimmune conditions? But it's important at this point to understand that I am not saying that you should not go for a diagnosis, or you should not be trying to figure out which disease you have, or you should not be going in for medications or treatments, because obviously knowing which disease if you had and if you were able to do that soon would be helpful, because it would allow you to get the medications that you need to prevent further tissue damage. The problem is that most people continue to wait for this. They believe this is the only way, and because it takes time to get a diagnosis in the case of autoimmune conditions. I've spoken about this earlier. It can actually take months, years, if not decades, to get a proper diagnosis, because the symptoms are so varied. They are ever changing. It changes from one day to the next, maybe barring a couple of symptoms of pain and fatigue. Other symptoms keep changing and evolving. The tests may not really come out positive for certain antibodies. There's so many variables here, and it's quite hard to get a diagnosis, right? So that's where the problem lies. Because if you got a diagnosis and you were able to manage focusing on prevention of further damage, absolutely fine, while you address the root cause. In fact, that's the approach that we take in functional medicine and in my practice, where I work with women with undiagnosed autoimmune conditions who are looking to reverse their symptoms without waiting for even one more day, using their body as a guide, right? Using their body to guide them. So what happens then for people who actually are just waiting to get the right diagnosis, waiting to get the official diagnosis before they even start to do anything, because they have been led to believe that's all that they can do. So the only way that they can get better is to get the medications, and it's a chicken and egg, and they're not getting the medications because they haven't got a diagnosis. So they remain stuck in this place. It's neither here nor there. All the while they're getting sicker and sicker. So if that's not what's really going to help, then you could actually be stuck with a very poor quality of life if you stick to that kind of journey, right? That kind of route. However, you can change your direction. You can start finally getting the answers that you're looking for to understand, because you will find, if you have not done so already, that just by knowing the name of the disease tells you nothing about it, right? You really haven't got the answers, if at all you've got a diagnosis, right? There's so many people who are not even getting one. So how do you actually get the answers that you're looking for, and how do you actually find relief from the severe pain and exhaustion and start reversing your symptoms, start reversing your autoimmune disease? So how do you start reversing your autoimmune disease? There are so many, I have talked about it, that you can actually do this by addressing the underlying imbalances, the deficiencies, by supporting your body's innate healing process. So how do you do this? You do this by focusing on these main things. One is cleaning your diet, obviously. That's where we always start, with food as medicine. So removing foods which are triggering an immune response. Typically, the 5 foods that we eliminate in the case of autoimmune diseases are gluten, dairy, soy, corn and eggs. There might be others. It depends. It has to be customized for each individual. Lightening your toxin load, the amount of toxins that you're taking in on a daily basis, whether you realize it or not, is not really important here. So it can be through your skin, when you're slathering in your personal care products, your perfumes, your laundry detergents, your washing, through your clothes, through the air that you breathe, the water that you drink, so, and the foods that you eat. If the foods that you're consuming are processed and filled with preservatives, colors, flavorings, these are all toxins for our body, right? Managing your stress better, because having a chronic disease itself is quite stressful. So managing your stress is also very important. And of course, underneath all of this is your gut. Your gut health is where it all starts. Actually, we say disease begins in the gut, which is true for a majority of chronic illnesses. So improving your gut health, and all of these, what I have already told you, also help in doing this. But focusing, the starting point in dealing with any kind of autoimmune disease is usually is in the gut, right? So improving your gut health. The good news is, right, even as you're waiting for a diagnosis, even as you're trying to figure out which direction to go towards, even as you're waiting for answers, your body, it can guide you with all of this, right? Your body can help guide you through all of these things, through this amazing journey that you're on, through this healing journey, where you're looking to support your body in whichever way it needs you to, through managing the same things, managing stress, lowering toxins, giving the foods that it needs, having a high nutrient dense diet. So, and what I have found to be the most effective with my clients, and what really works, is by allowing your body to be a guide. You actually know whether you're on the right track or not, because when you start listening to your body, when you know how to listen to it, to start pay attention to your body's messages, which usually comes in the form of symptoms, you know whether you're on the right track, and you know if you need to make any tweaks or changes, right? So which no other test or any textbook can actually provide that same kind of direction, right? Your body never lies, so you will know exactly if it's working or not, right? So to know that you have, so it's important for you to understand that you have what it takes to heal yourself and get your life back, life, health and body back in control. And this is exactly what I help my clients do in my 6-month coaching program, Healing from Within. Because by learning how to trust their bodies once again, by listening to the messages, by allowing their bodies to act as a guide, they're able to navigate through their own healing journey, right? And we are able to customize it. We are able to make it much more effective than if we were able to just guess our way through. In short, from being a disempowered patient, they become an empowered explorer. And I invite you to join us on that journey of becoming an empowered explorer of your own life, of your own body, of your own health, whether it's an inner work and it's an outer work, right? Both going hand in hand beautifully. That's when true healing actually takes place. So let me ask you again, do you really want to continue thinking that a diagnosis will help you solve all your problems, help you get better and manage your disease to the best level possible? Or do you want to embark on a healing journey with your body as your guide, so that you can start addressing the root causes from, without waiting for one more day, even if you don't have a diagnosis, right? If you're ready to start, make sure that you check out the link in the bio and schedule a free 30 minutes discovery call with me. In that call, you will get, I sort of will take you through the connections between what's going on, give you some insight as to what is most likely the best next step possible for you to take.